Hello. Thank you for the 5-bit Samuses. You were waiting for that, weren't you? Hello, everyone. It's been a while since we played Steins Gate. It's been a couple weekends. Last weekend I had family stuff. The weekend before was the weekend with Mim. That feels like it was half a year ago. It's hard to believe that was just 2 weeks ago, to be honest. So my memory of this is a bit lapsed, but last I remember we were searching the whole town for the legendary IBN 5100, and we finally found it in the back of a temple, and then we carried it here because we didn't have money for an Uber or a taxi or whatever. That's basically what I remember. Yeah. You are confused? What is confusing you, Samus? That plot was too hard to follow. Actually, does this game tell me? Does it have like a summary of things? No, it does not. Spotify is listing Halloween's album Time of the Oath, but when you click on it, it takes you to a compilation album. That sounds like Spotify is doing a trick or treat and you got tricked, my friend. I'm gonna turn down my audio slightly. There we go, that's better. So yes, we've taken 30 minutes to walk the computer back to our tiny little flat. It sounds like now you have a bunch of duplicate songs. That is unfortunate. I stopped doing... I've never been into Spotify. I just play stuff on YouTube, to be entirely honest. I used to play stuff locally, and I had a program that would have the lyrics appear on screen. There was a small point in time I actually did some lyric syncing for a couple songs here and there. But the program I used was weird in that, like, it wouldn't let me upload stuff. I could download all the lyrics I wanted for free, but if I wanted to help support them and give them more lyric files, I had to pay them money, and I was like, no, why would I do that? So I just copied the lyric files over myself, and then it worked. It sounds like both of us are old people who can't move this box. That is an interesting nothing sound. Sure it was. Okabe, I have missed you. Holy crap, there's something wrong with this girl. Something wrong with us too, my friend. Rip out my nerves. That's like something from last year's new gen incidents. Okay. This one will require a bit of explaining. So, for those of you who don't know the Steins Gate series, and even some of you that do, Steins Gate is actually not the first game in the series. There's a game that comes before it called Chaos Head that was not nearly as popular. The main character is a piece of trash in my opinion. But it takes place several years ahead of this, and involves a series of murders that this new gen instance is referring to. String of murders. 14 people died in 7 incidents. All methods of murder were entirely unorthodox. 25-year-old man was arrested as the culprit but passed away immediately afterwards. So, there we go. Probably not. To my knowledge, it's not even on Steam at this point. I can double check that later. I've watched the anime for it. It's not great, in my opinion. However, so Steins Gate is actually a series of games. So there's Steins Gate, Steins Gate 0, Steins Gate Elite, I think, and then Linear Phenogram. I might be doing all of those. And then after Steins Gate, there's actually another series that's not entirely related, but takes place in the same world, called Robotics Notes, which is more lighthearted. And I did see that is coming to Steam, I think, later this year or early next year, so I might play that one. But the gist of that one is some kids at a high school are trying to build a giant walking robot from an anime. And of course that's entirely unrealistic, but they want to do it anyways. And actually, if you've been watching the news, Japan did just actually have like a giant 30-foot robot take its first steps like last week. So, hey, maybe it's not so far-fetched. Okay, I'll shut up. Let's bring the IBN 5100 into the lab. The final barrier awaits. It's called stairs. We have to ascend this rickety building's narrow staircase. Friends? I checked the window. The lab's lights are on. She's gonna make us look like wimps and just carry this box by herself. Part-time warrior comes out of the Brawn Tube workshop with perfect timing. Oh gosh, they're overlaying characters directly on top of each other? I was not expecting that. Also, this is weird, because I assume if we're talking to her, we can see her. And yet, now we can't because Chris is in the way. It's weird. Hey, Avier, how's it going?
IBN 5100と言ったらどうする?
Yeah, I'd actually seen you were playing Cold Steel a couple days ago. I lurked for a bit, but you were way further than me and I didn't want any spoilers, so unfortunately I did have to leave. Hello, Elytriana, how are you? She's gonna do that, she'd at least call me Hoen Kiyoma. This is perfectly set up to have another person appear on the left and just fill out this like triptych of women with different colored eyes. Crucy starts giving in. I'm about at my limit too. Samus says, thank you for the 4 bits, my friend. Chrisu and I place it on the ground gently so as not to damage the contents. I'm doing okay. Today's been a bit of a whirlwind. I saw my girlfriend for the first time since early March, so that was great. And then I came back home to find out that my grandmother passed away. So it's been a ride, but thank you for the bit, Samuses. So yeah, it's been a bit of a ride. But yeah. Yes, I'm okay. Thank you for asking. She was quite old. She had just turned 96. And we'd found out last week that she was in hospital and like her kidneys were failing. Thank you for the 5 bits, Kate. So it wasn't unexpected, and she'd lived a good long life, and to be completely honest, I'm glad it was only like a couple weeks of her being in pain and not like months or years, so that like it was good in that sense. Yeah, it is still hard. So thank you for asking. And thank you, Avier, for your nice comments too.
Yanabayashi Jinja.
Yanabayashi Jinja?
Hello, Deadbeard. How's it going? Then suddenly, Suzuha looks at Kurisu. And the music stops. She gasps and approaches Kurisu until they're close enough to feel each other's breath. We have creepy music. Thank you, Deadbeard. And I'm excited to hear your digital music things. Yes, they are very close to it. He's like, now kiss. Maybe their child will have green eyes, because blue and yellow makes green. I don't think that's how genetics works, Samus. For some reason, she stares at Kurisu with frightful intensity. But knowing this game, they would have like an entire tip on how genetics works. They've already taught us physics that I've entirely forgotten. Kurisu narrows her eyes in opposition. What's going on here? I can't move a muscle. The air is so thick with tension. You passed biology with the 70s, so you clearly don't know anything. Yeah, see, this is something that, like, I've talked to my girlfriend who's from the Philippines. She thinks this is weird, but, like, schools in Canada, you take science, you take, like, a general science in first and second year of high school, and then after that, you don't have to take any more science. So I did not take biology past grade 10. I took chemistry instead. And a little bit of an astrophysics course, which I ended up dropping. But yeah. Probably have brown eyes. It's never that simple. I mean, I've never met a person with yellow eyes. I don't know how genetics works for that. I know blue is a recessive gene for eyes. So dark... In general, when it comes to colors, darker will win out. Like, darker hair, darker eyes will win out. Your dad has blue eyes, your mom has gray, and you have green. You believe you discussed the more complex genetics for things that aren't binary, like hair and eye color. Yeah, I have, like, no recollection of biology other than... We didn't even do any dissections. We didn't get to do any of the fun stuff. We got to touch the pig's feet that the older kids were going to dissect. That was fun. Suzuha turns away and, without looking back, disappears into the Brawn Tube workshop. See, I've never done a dissection. I think in grade 6 there's one time we, like... No, we didn't dissect anything. Yeah, bio is just too much memorization for me. I did not find it interesting. And to be honest, I don't really care that much about chemistry either. I took it because it was recommended for photography, and that was more fun. Now Chrissy demands answers from me. You got a 98%. It wasn't hard. It just didn't... yeah, in grade 9, I got, I think, a 98% in French, and like all the teachers were like, "Oh, you should take more French." I'm like, "But I don't care. Like, it would be a nice thing to know, but it doesn't really help what I want to do in the future." Deadbeard has redeemed Juggle for 1 minute. And Samus's has given 4 bits. Thank you, Samus's. Okay. So I cannot hear. I know you guys cannot hear me that well either. See how well that works out. It does not work out. I can see that falling already. I don't think we're getting another 10-minute juggling lecture. Okay. Oh. It was going good until I tried behind the back. Oh. Or until I try a double. Let's try that again. There we go. Oh. Interesting thing to walk back to, yes. This seems to be my most popular redeem. There we go. I should probably get a better camera setup for that. But I'm glad you were impressed by that. Thank you for the 90 bits, Kate. Oh yes, and I now have hotkeys for all my transitions, so when when people complain that they can't see text, I can quickly move my face around and make my face big now. There's a couple other little itty-bitty changes. Yes, yay for hotkeys. Thank you for the 25 bits, Samus's. Yeah, the hotkeys actually weren't that hard to set up. I'm using Streamlabs OBS. I think it's you go to settings. Thank you for the 10 more bits, Samus's. You can keep your bits, you know, you don't have to use your bits on me. But yeah, it was oh, you wanted the bits, the bit badge. But yeah, like I mapped it to my numpads, like 9 is me top right, 7 is top left, so it like corresponds to the location of the number on the key. So yeah. I'm actually quite happy with it.
知らん。お前が何か怒らせるような真似をしたのではないのか?
Yeah, no worries. You can also do hotkeys for like muting your mic and stuff too. I didn't do that, but like there's a telephone behind me on top of this thing, that little cooler, and sometimes it goes off, and it would probably be nice to have like a hotkey for muting that. But I did not think of that when I was doing the transitions. Actually, now that I think about it, if I bind it to the same hotkey for like muting myself in Discord, that could be very useful too. One mute button to rule them all. Yes, hotkeys are the best. This is the first stream I've used it, and it's already been nice because I was able to to go full screen and then back with just a button click. We get Daru and Mayuri to come down and help us, and the 4 of us carry the IBN 5100 upstairs.
みんなご苦労。これで俺たちは戦える。
戦うって誰と?
Yeah, if you're the kind of person that has does a lot of streaming with multiple people in Discord, I haven't really done that. Yes, this is a good point. If you're muted in one and not the other, and it's a toggle, it'll flip, and then you're muted in one and not the other. That's a good point. I'd have to actually see if it's a toggle or if it's just like this button is always mute and this button's always unmute.
セル、そして世界を牛耳る支配構造とだ。
あんたって本当に幸せそうね。
幸せ？そんなものは望んでい
Yeah,
ない。
I hear you, Samuses.
俺を誰だと思っている？狂気のマッドサイエンティストだぞ。
Although, I guess, small announcement, there is a plan in works for me to have like a new kind of stream where my girlfriend and I will be doing some stuff together. It's still a thought and probably wouldn't be nearly as regular as these like weekly streams, but happening like maybe every 2 or 3 weeks. Just like playing some smaller games that could be done in like one stream or something like that. And I have an artist for emotes, and those are looking pretty close to being done, so I'm expecting maybe for this stream next week those will be ready. That is my hope.
俺が手に入れたいのは混沌。そのためのタイムマシンだ。
Yes, Samus. So there are 2 more emotes being worked on, and the artist is actually redoing that emote in their style, just to have the 3 of them all appear in the same style. I do not have control over the bedtime bin emote, although it is getting close to being my most used emote now.
ごめん、言い直す。あんたって本当にベータエンドルフィン過剰分泌によるジャンキーね。
Okay, we're now a happiness junkie, looking for endorphins.
おかりおかり、悪いことはダメっていつも言ってるのに。
Actually, Mayuri's eyes look like if you try and fuse the blue with the yellow, and it just didn't mix well. It's like oil on water. I said most used by me personally. Because watching all the people in Australia, I have to tell lots of people to go to bed. I spend more of my time making puns, Samuses, that's why.
けどすげえよ。マジで見つけてくるなんて。僕たちにできないことを平然とやってのける。
Joke's on you, you woke up early. I mean, yeah, it's what, 11 a.m. for you.
憧れないけどね。
You still feel too much affinity with Mayuri. So, Kate, I finished Danganronpa this week, and there was one point I like came upstairs, and my brother, he hasn't played it, but he watched some people play it, and I was just like sitting to him like, what the nuts is wrong with whoever made this game? It's like, why? Why does this exist? Why is this so terrible? I loved it, but I hated it at the same time. Thank you for the host. Yeah, and I had my girlfriend share her Steam library with me because she is the 2nd and 3rd game, and I'm like, I can't stop here, I need to know what happens. And just because of that, now I want to replay. She has games that are similar to it. 999, 9 Doors, 9 Persons, 9 Hours, I think is the full name. I want to replay that now because I'd played it once and got a bad ending. Right, left, up, down, B, A, start, something like that. Yeah, I need to take a break from it. I'm like off stream right now. My goal is to finish Final Fantasy X. I'm like in the final area, so I need to finish that. Mayuri, oblivious as always, puffs out her chest with pride. But I don't miss Krisu's relieved sigh. She keeps dropping manga quotes. Does this mean what I think it means? So yeah, I probably won't be playing the second one for a while, but I do want to get to it.
ああ、マユリの言う通りだ。今回ばかりはよくやってくれた。
ということで、マユシーはそろそろ帰るね。
Puffing out their chest is inappropriate, Samus's.
クリスちゃんはどうする？途中まで一緒に帰ろう。
ありがとう。でももうしばらくここにいるわ。
We have research to do. Looks like Chrissy's interested in the IBN 5100 and CERN after all. That reminds me, I haven't filled her in yet. I'll be entirely honest, I've been looking at chat more than I have been at this game. So I'm hoping nothing. I don't think anything major happened. We just have research to do. By the way, what about those bananas? I mean, I'm sure we'll be doing more tests with bananas later. Daru talks as he plugs in the IBN 5100's power adapter into the wall. He turns the machine on and the power supply begins to make a turbulent noise. I'm worried about a turbulent noise. Doesn't sound like something your charger should be making.
ID 探しを優先させてくれ。できれば今月中に IBN5100 を使えるようにはしてもらいたいところだが。
今月ってまだ30日丸々残ってんじゃん。さすがに来月まではかからねっつうの。
That's my super hacker. And it is... Oh, we've got mail. Well, we're ignoring you. We're checking our mail. Shining finger. Asking if we have any leads. Been to stores. Yeah, I don't... There wouldn't be any just sitting on display, and you didn't ask anyone.
ちょっと岡部。
Huh?
So she actually had that that line while we were looking at our phone. I look up and she's glaring at me.
岡部って言ったのよ。
So that was cool. Because we checked our phone, it had different text here. I take one step towards Krisu. She takes a step back. And now we're dancing. Daru tries to hold me back, but I shake him off and take a step closer. Krisu doesn't step back this time. Without taking her eyes off me, she bites her lip hard and curls her hands into fists. So, I have heard a rumor. I haven't verified it because it would spoil parts of this game for me, but I have heard a rumor that there is a bad ending to this game that would probably violate terms of service. So if it gets close to that, I will have to take precautionary action. But I know we are nowhere close to that right now. And I don't expect us to. I think you'd have to make a series of conscious choices to get there.
言ったわよ。悪い。確かに私はあんたより年下だけど、人のことクリスティーナだとかゾンビだとか呼ぶ相手がいるとき、そいつには敬意を表さないとするのが私の考えなんだから。
違う。俺は岡部ではない。不法員強魔だ。何度言わせればわかるのだ、クリスティーナ。
自分のこと棚に上げすぎだろ、あんた。
Did you stream part of that hack? I feel like I watched you play a spooky Metroid hack at one point.
いい子、俺のことは法員あるいは強魔と呼ぶように。
Yeah, no worries, Kate.
お断りします。
It's flat out denied. Chrissy snaps at me and turns away. Are those tears I see in her eyes? Okay, yeah. His fingers crossed for no terms of service. Yeah, I think I know enough that if we're going down that route, I can stop it before it gets there. Thank you for the alert, Kate. So yeah, Samus says, I do think I did see you play part of that. I remember there was a boss that had some, like, was it like 4 faces or something that flew around the screen that was giving you a bit of trouble? But I'm pretty sure you ended up beating it after a couple tries. That's basically what I remember from it. I'm glad I described it enough that you were able to name it. She stalks over to the window and stares outside. I see her wipe her eyes with the back of her hand. Seems like she was crying after all. That's fair. To be honest, I'm actually surprised I remembered that much, that I was able to give you that much detail on it. You would want it to be Moe. Well, whatever, back to checking mail. But I'm thirsty from this hard day's work. Before that, I'd take out a fresh Dr. Pepper out of the fridge. I find it interesting this game censors the brand name when the anime is just like, nope, it's just Dr. Pepper everywhere. Dr. People. Aw, yeah. I toss the bottle to Chrisu once she turns around. Cool spinning outro. Dr. People sounds so much worse. Chrisu tries to catch it, but fails magnificently. Dr. Check? I'm not familiar with that brand. I also haven't been a pop drinker in a while. She picks the bottle up off the floor, then shoots me a glare. I'm not familiar with that, so I'm gonna say no. It is possible, I just have never heard of Bilo or Bilo, however you pronounce that before. Need to send a reply to Shining Finger. She ended up being no help at all, but I suppose I can't just say nothing. Check is their store brand for sodas. Okay, and it's pronounced Bilo. Bilo and Sell High. Got it. Are we a drug dealer now? I got the goods. I send as concise a message as possible. You could have just said found it. That would be more concise. Turn back to Chrissy, but the reply comes before I can open my mouth. Turn around in less than 5 seconds. She must have her phone in hand 24/7. It's the only possible explanation. Gimme? What nonsense is this? I'm not giving it to you. Someone who says gimme. Check also has the second best cream soda you've ever had. See, I don't like cream soda. Yeah, I found it's too sweet. Sorry, but I'm not the owner. I just can't give it to you. I send that. Another instant reply. Well, you don't like me. Thank you for the 10 bits. And I know you're joking, but you can keep your bits. Good. It's easy to imagine what will happen if I lend it to her. It is now gone. She'll disappear and I'll never see the IBN 5100 again. I'm just waiting for this to just be like re, and the rest is just cut off. I do not need your bits more than you do. Don't worry about me, Samus. I am doing alright. Give your bits to other people. Or keep them. No borrowing either. You can come over to our lab if you want to see it, but no touching. Touching costs extra. Ooh, we're sending her our address. Dang it, game, I don't want to do that, but you did it for me. I add the lab's address and send the mail. No more replies come. Did you already have an instance with this person where it just changes the subject line? Let's see. We have so many messages from her. So let's go to one of these threads. Student, schedule, phone 2, asleep. Oh, we're not responding to her at that point. Let's go to where we start responding to her. Still alive. That we reply to, and then it becomes call me. So yes. And then call me too. So yes, it does change. I look up and see Chrisu drinking the Dr. People. The voice in this game literally said Dr. Pepper. Why do they have to censor it otherwise? Yeah, it's just the localization, but I find it hilarious. Chrissy shrugs her shoulders and takes another swig, signaling me to talk. Yeah, it's like weird to me why they can still have it in the audio if like it's a licensing issue. So I explain how Daru and I hacked into CERN, and by Daru and I mean Daru, I did nothing. How they already had the LHC in operation for 9 years, that's the Large Hadron Collider. How they've successfully created mini black holes. How it looks like they're researching time travel. Also, how they haven't disclosed any of that to the world. Krisu's expression grows more and more intense as she listens to the story. Oh, no worries. Yeah, no worries for that. I just look forward to the time where I can actually, you know, watch something you're playing, because it's not something that will spoil a game for me. We have our sources. I don't drop Titer's name, but I have no doubt this genius girl would laugh if I did. Chrissy puts a finger to her lip, deep in thought. True, we didn't get any definitive or definite proof of CERN's time travel research last time we hacked them. You'll be playing that soon, just prepping. Oh, that's nice, because that's one I don't plan on playing at this point in time, and even if I do, it'll probably be many years in the future, so I will have probably forgotten by then. So, if you are online, I'll be sure to check that out. Half a day to hack the master password.
待つって、もう夜になってる件について、今日は一度帰って明日の朝また来れば？
いいえ、待たせてもらう。1マイクロ秒でも早く知りたいから。
いい心がけだ。 もはやセルンに隠された陰謀に魅了され、知りたくてたまらないという様子だな。
To me, she looks tired, just like she's like angry, but she's also like, I'm tired of being angry. Just know that I'm angry and do the things I want. I'm gonna crash here after I drank all of the sugar.
あんたたちの言うことがもし事実だとするなら、こんなふざけたことってない。セルンは世界最高の研究機関なのよ。そこが実験結果を公表せずに極秘で実験してるなんて、世界中の研究者をバカにしてる。もし事実ならだけど。
She finishes by emphasizing that point again. Doesn't look like she believes us.
ではだる。任せたぞ。
According to Dar's research, the IBN 5100 weighs 25 kilos. Now we'll leave it on the shelf in the development room. Who is she again? She is a genius physics researcher who came from America. At the start of the game, we have like a confrontation with her, and she ends up dying. And then weird stuff happens, and now she's alive again, and no one seems to remember that she was dead. And she's interested in the mushy bananas, and like the possibility that we have figured out some part of time travel / teleportation. Yeah, she's the person who died at the very beginning. Carry the cardboard box to the room, half dragging it. Chrissy follows.
電話レンジ見せてもらっていい？
よかろう。実験してみるか？
あれ以来一度も再現はできてないのよね。過去へメールを送る現象。理由は把握してる？
I can only shake my head.
ちょっと試してみましょう。
Chrissy looks around the development room for bananas.
ガラクタだらけね。
No, it did not, but I think only our character says name subject to change. Everyone else is just like, it's the phone wave. I don't need to say other things. You know what I mean.
ガラクタではない。
It's treasures.
お前はまだ知らないようだから特別に教えてやろう。これは我ら未来ガジェット研究所がその科学力の粋を結集させて発明した栄えある未来ガジェットたちである。ここに保管されているのは未来ガジェット1号から7号までであり、電話レンジ
Oh, even he there just calls it the phone wave.
ナンバリングされるのだ。
未来ガジェットね。
Chrissy casually picks up Future Gadget 4, Mode Snake, up from the shelf and stares at it.
ちょっとこれって兵器じゃないの？
未来ガジェット4号機モアッドスネークはクレイモア地雷に似せて作られた瞬間加湿器だ。
Why would you make a humidifier in the shape of a claymore? Why?
紛らわしいな。
水を入れて電源を入れればわずか数秒で大量の蒸気が吹き出すのだ。
やっぱりガラクタだな。
Yes, I agree, it is junk. Because it's kinda funny. Chrissy sighs and returns the Mode Snake to the shelf. I'm trying to figure out if that's a pun name, but I'm not figuring it out if it is. Without waiting for a reply, she grabs Daru's never-worn lab coat from the shelf and puts it on gallantly.
やっぱり落ち着くな、白衣。
Overcome with emotion, I seize Chrissy's hand and grasp it firmly. Yes, they completely changed.
助手よ、お前は分かっているじゃないか。
何がよ、話してよ。
やはり研究開発においては白衣こそがユニフォームだよな。
I told Daru over and over, but he wouldn't wear one. My assistant is different. She put it on before I even said anything.
やはり俺の目に狂いはなかった。クリスティーナ、お前は最高の助手だ。
褒めてくれてるのかもしれんが、私にしてみれば侮辱されてるとしか思えんぞ。おい。
She shakes off my hand and turns her back to me.
その白衣はラボ面加入記念としてお前にプレゼントしよう。もともと誰も使っていなかったのだ。気兼ねすることはない。あるいはその白衣は。
Meanwhile, Daru's in the background, just like, can you two just shut up and let me hack this database, please?
ダルが着ようとしなかったのもまた必然。すべてはシュタインズ。
くだらないこと言ってないで実験してみましょう。
But yes. New outfit. I don't remember that belt buckle. Chrissy thrusts both hands into her lab coat's pockets and bends them down to look at the time machine now placed underneath the table. The previous experiment broke the table and even left a hole in the floor. There's a danger that will happen again if we successfully reproduce the discharge phenomenon, so unfortunately we'll have to leave it on the floor for now.
これって電子レンジの方は何もいじってないんでしょ?
I point at the X68000. There's code on the screen.
常時ターミナルモードにしてやる。どんな設定にもできるのだ。市販されている電子レンジよりも無茶をさせることも可能だ。
放電現象が起きた時はどんな設定にしてた？
特に何も。出荷時設定のままだった。
バナナもらうわよ。
Here are the bananas. The bunch of bananas only has 3 bananas left.
それは前売りのものだ。
だったらあんたに許可取らなくていいわね。明日新しいバナナ買ってくることにしてと。
At least she replaces the bananas. It's better than anything we've done. Chrissy takes one banana from the bunch, squats down, and places it inside the phone wave, name subject to change. She begins to type on her phone. Apparently they only want to say name subject to change when I have to read it out loud. She pushes send, and the phone wave, name subject to change, begins to turn backwards. After 120 seconds, the chime rings. Yes, she wants that ooey gooey banana. Banana still in the microwave. Unjellified. You've heard of hot potato? This is hot banana. Chrissy yelps as she tries to take out the banana and quickly draws back her hand. She starts blowing on her fingers.
レンジが普通に動作したということか?
This proves that the hidden function Mayuri found wasn't a freezing function, but we knew that already. Yeah, I feel like it wouldn't just be like a hot banana. I feel like it would like either melt or would like pop, like when you heat like a potato and it like starts popping. I don't know. I'm never gonna try this because that'd just be a waste of a banana, but I am curious. Undaunted, Chrissy throws in a new banana. Once again begins reverse rotation for 120 seconds. But the second banana warms up too. We can't reproduce the jellification phenomenon, much less send mail to the past. But overripe bananas are for, like, banana bread, or maybe you mix it into a smoothie.
どういうことだ?
So, I mean, my thing with overripe bananas is just the texture, but if you're mashing it into something or blending it, then that texture thing goes away. Also, other people in my house like bananas after, like, later than I do. I'm probably the first person to stop eating the bananas in the house. That is fair. You could microwave the banana and then turn it into banana bread. It's going to be baked anyways. So yes, if someone is baking banana bread, then yes, you can try heating up a banana in the microwave for 2 minutes.
それには同意。
We agree for once. Chrissy's motives and my motives are probably the exact opposite. My assistant here wants to disprove my theory that the phone wave, name subject to change, is, in fact, a time machine.
この前の実験ではちぎられたバナナは電話レンジカッコ仮で120秒間を過ごした後
Aha, he said name subject to change this time.
瞬間移動した。これは120秒前の状態に戻ったと考えるべきだ。
違う。120秒前の状態に戻るならゲル化はしない。
So she wants to say that because it was jellified, it didn't travel back in time.
唐揚げはゲル化せずに冷凍状態へと戻ったのだぞ。
そのゲル化せずに冷凍状態へ戻ったっていうロジックも怪しい。冷凍されていただけでゲル化そのものは起きていた可能性については検証した？
No, it didn't. I think Mayuri ate the refrozen chicken.
塩に関してはゲル化はしなかった。
何も変化しなかったって定義すべき。
What has you confused, Samus's?
この前の放電現象が発生した後、徹夜で実験した結果、キャベツ、大根、米、こんにゃく、メロンパン、ガルガリ君、カップ麺。
I have to look up what Crunchy-kun is. Oh no, I do not want auto. That is the opposite of what I want. A brand of popsicle, fictional. This whole time travel theory makes no sense. How could the banana travel back in time 2 minutes, but not be on the bunch 2 minutes prior? So, I think what they're saying is it's... So, they have the bunch of bananas. You rip one off, you put it in the microwave, and it goes back to how it was 2 minutes before it was in the microwave, which was on the bunch, but now it's jellified, and... He's saying, well, it went back to the bunch, therefore it went back in time, and she's going, but it's jellified, therefore it didn't go back in time because it changed state.
液体に関しても同様だ。あの日は放電現象の前後で実験の成功率が180度変わった。放電現象前はすべて成功。放電現象後はすべて失敗。
レンジが電気を溜め込んでるとか？
Yes, it teleported, it didn't time travel. Yeah, you couldn't prove time travel, at least not with this banana. And good luck proving it if you are the one time traveling. Good luck proving it to other people.
ゲル化したものはフラクタル構造のようだって言ってたわよね。塩はもともと単純構造だから影響を受けないのかな。電気とどんな関係が？
Just jellify some random pedestrian. I mean, well, Samus, first you would have to chop up said pedestrian so you could fit them in your microwave. Then you could turn them into a gel.
ここはタイムトラベル理論を前提に考えてみるべきだ。
And it could need a bigger microwave? Or a smaller pedestrian. I was thinking of an adult, but if we go with a child... I don't like where this is going.
ダメ。結論ありきで考えるのは良くない。
Yes, police are arriving soon.
すでにいくつも実験成功例があるのだぞ。それを否定するのか？
私は別にこれがタイムマシンじゃなくてもちっとも困らないから。
Yes, volunteer.
そもそもこの小さな電子レンジの中でビッグバンに匹敵するエネルギーが発生していると定義するのは無理がある。
I want to believe that it's possible a microwave can produce energy equivalent to the Big Bang. Chrissy frowns deeply.
放電現象の再現。
Or as I call it, her normal look.
フラクタル構造化の再現。どちらもできなくなってしまった理由があるはず。
Move this camera down slightly.
設定も全く変えていない。
There we go, that's a bit better.
実験対象も変更なし。それ以外で変動する条件というと、
誰が観測するかだな。
何よそれ。
量子論だ。観測者は実験の重要な要素だ。
放電現象が起きた時はここには4人いた。でもその前に橋田さんが1
We
人の
need
時
4
に
people to
発生してる。
summon the Satan banana.
フラクタル構造化した実験時は2人の時や3人の時があった。私たちは2人ともどちらの現象も見ている。つまり条件は変わっていないはず。
だとしたら、
There must be some other variable. It's on the tip of my tongue. Then I hear a rumbling sound from Chrissy's stomach. That did not sound like a rumble.
腹が減ったのか？
うるさいな。お昼から何も食べてないのよ。
Chrissy turns away as she looks at her watch.
もう8時か。
バナナを食うがいい。ただし、食べていいのはさっき温めた2本だぞ。実験で使った食材は美味しくいただけ。
There you go, Samus says she's gonna eat a nice hot banana.
あるいは買い置きのカップ麺があるが。いらないか？やはりアメリカ生活が長いとファーストフードの方が好きになるものなのか？
カップ麺。
何？
カップ麺もらうわ。
カップ麺をか？
ちなみに味は？
醤油味と塩味がある。
塩味。
She seems in the mood to eat. You dislike cup noodles? Why is that,
それ
Samus
と
says?
フォークある？
Like, I will eat cup noodles, but it's like one of those things. I'll eat it, but it's like, I know it's not the best thing for you. They just taste wrong. See, I have nothing against the taste. My thing's more against its horrible thing to put in your body, usually. It's past midnight. Oh, and the day actually advanced. Nice. 8 o'clock, the two of us silently ate cup noodles and warm bananas. Dara said he didn't want any. Ever since then, we've been examining the phone wave, name subject to change. Especially the shrimp one. See, I haven't had the shrimp one, so I can't comment on that one. I usually have chicken or beef, I think are the two I usually have. I've mainly focused on the terminal mode setting through the X68000. The programs Dara wrote are all wizard class though, so I can't understand most of them. Let's keep hitting wizard. Insanely skilled hacker. Wonderful. Crucy's been examining the AC adapter, the lab's electrical switchboard for a while, though we stopped her when she tried to disassemble them. Please don't disassemble your electrical switchboards, that's probably not safe. You're kind of craving some broth, though. I can feel you on that. Just this morning I was thinking, like, I would like a nice bowl of ramen. It's early morning and she still shows no sign of leaving. Where is she staying, anyway? She's been in Japan for 1 or 2 months, and she did say she was going back to America this month. The trains aren't running this late, so I guess she might not be able to leave even if she wants to. I don't think that's weird. I don't know. I feel like I prefer the broth of chicken noodle soup more than the chicken or the noodles. In that case, why didn't she leave before the train stopped? Don't tell me she plans to stay. No girls have ever stayed over at the lab. Mayuri has a curfew. She always goes back home to Ikebukuro. Daro and I frequently stay here, though. It's not an exaggeration to say we live here half the time. Maybe it's normal for American girls to stay overnight in labs.
Christina, こんな時間までここにいていいのか?
Comes from a time when you could only eat beef or chicken broth because everything else made you sick. Never did find out why you were like that. That's interesting. That also sounds like not a great time. So I'm glad you are now able to eat more things.
連絡なんて必要ないから。
何? お前の親は放任主義なのか?
Chrissy turns to me and sighs.
父親とはかれこれ7年は会ってない。母親はアメリカ。私は今はホテル暮らし。わかった?
No.
Living in a hotel? Well, true, renting an apartment for just a month is absurd, but it's happened twice in your life. You had a period of time you couldn't eat at restaurants without feeling nauseous, couldn't really eat much at home. Having a father who didn't care, didn't help. Yeah, that sucks. Like, it's hard enough, like, having that where you can only eat certain kinds of things or just anything. It's hard enough having something you're going through and then to have, like, your family and friends not care about it makes it worse. Since coming back from Hawaii a couple weeks or months after that, haven't had that problem again, and that was 11 years ago. I'm glad to hear it hasn't happened in quite some time, and I hope Hawaii was lovely. I'm actually thinking, because I had been to Hawaii once also, and it might have actually lined up with about 11 years ago.
私はアメリカ人じゃないし、東京のど真ん中にモーテルはないだろ。
どんなホテルだ?
どんなってお茶の水にある普通のホテルよ。
お茶の水? ではここから歩いて帰れるではないか。
Cold water and fantastic shaved ice. It's also on your coffee addiction, sir. They do have good coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. I've never actually really been a coffee drinker. That astounds people. Scratch that part. That was Georgia. Yeah, I've never been a coffee drinker. Like, people ask me what I drink, like, in the morning to wake up, and I'm just like, water. That is what I drink. I see. That's why she's so flexible with her schedule. Finally understand.
では、父親の件について聞こう。
は?
7年会っていないと言ったな。
なんであんたが私の父親に興味持つのよ。
お前がこれ見よがしに父親のことを口にしたのではないか。それはつまり、父親の件について相談に乗ってください、お願いしますというメッセージだろう。
そんなわけあるか。
We are indeed crazy.
お前は俺の助手だ。助手の悩みには乗ってやらなければな。というわけで、張り切って話すがいい。
We are apparently now their psychologist. Chrissy pouts and says no more. Instead, she glares at the circuit box on the wall. Please do not disassemble the circuit box.
あんたに話すことなんて何もない。
そうか、わかったぞ。お前の父親はもともとは英雄だったが、やがてその身を悪に染め、今や帝国の幹部として黒マスクと黒マントを身につけ、こう言っているのだな。そして将来的に親子で戦う運命に。
I think I heard Chrissy's teeth grind.
もしかしてすごく怒っているか?
人の家族の問題を。
Chrissy doesn't look me in the eye, but her low voice tells me how mad she is.
そうやって茶化さないで。あんた今、私の心に土足で踏み込んだのよ。
Could her father's situation be a landmine? Maybe I should apologize. Try to think of the words, but before I can say anything...
Kita!
I think he found it. Daru's war cry echoes through the lab.
Daru, yatta no ka?
Yeah, no worries, Samus.
Mission complete.
Daru shows his white teeth in a wide grin as he gives a thumbs up.
サーバー管理者の ID とパスを手に入れたぜ。これでもう士官し放題だ。ヒャッホー!
That like jump from the right to the center was weird.
IBN5100 が使われている方のデータベースは
そっちは独立して存在してるわけで、今回は全然関係ないだろ上皇。そもそもそんな特殊なプログラムで組まれたデータベースじゃアクセスできる人間だって限られるっしょ。所長クラスでもアクセスできないっぽい。
所長クラス以上の役職など存在するのか。
セルン評議会ってのがあるらしい。
Doesn't sound evil at all.
評議会とはいかにもなネーミングだな。
いかにもって何が？
ラスボスとしてのネーミングに決まっているだろう。
Crucy looks at me coldly. Whatever. Let's leave the IBN 5100 database for another day.
ダル、早速タイムトラベル理論についての情報があるか調べてくれ。
オキドキ。前に調べた時 Z プログラムってのが怪しかったよな。
それとゼリーマンズレポートだ。
Couldn't get concrete information on either before. Crucy stares holes into the monitor. Her angry expression has disappeared.
とくと見ておくがいい。
She still looks pretty angry to me.
そしてその目に焼き付けろ。セルンがしている世界への欺瞞という現実をな。
うほう、見つけた。LHC 計画担当責任者来たこれ。
責任者ということはかなり重要なポストだな。
今そいつの PC を覗いてるぞよ。 Z プログラム Z プログラムと
Z はゼリーの略で間違いないな。
ゼリーは J よ。 JELLY。
ぷっ、ケアレスミス、かこ悪い。
つまりそんな単純なネーミングのはずがないのだ。これには重要な意味が隠されている。間違いなくダブルミーニング。
Daru, who's been searching through the log, suddenly stops.
お、来た来た。
We have it. It displays a graphic on the monitor. Looks like a scan of a very old paper document. The letterhead reads, Z Program Top Secret.
プログラム立案日は1973年になってる。
セルンができたのは
1954年。
I asked Daru, but Chrysu answers instead, her tone flat. Thought that maybe CERN was formed with the Z program in mind, but 54 means my guess was off.
IBN5100 が発売されたのは
1975年。
So maybe that's why the IBN 5100 was central to CERN's operations. The years match, after all. No, that's wrong. Can't be something as stupidly simple as that. Has to be a worldwide conspiracy involved. Maybe IBN hid their proprietary programming language in the IBN 5100 for the sole purpose of its use in CERN's Z program. IBN and CERN are co-conspirators. And both of them are being manipulated from the shadows by an even larger organization. This isn't convoluted at all. Yeah, that's way more interesting.
うげ、JPEG かよ、ふざけんな。コピペできねえじゃん。
Daru mutters some complaint.
テキストはフランス語じゃないんだ。
What's on screen right now looks like
い
English.
や、 フランス語やらオランダ語やらドイツ語で書かれたものもあるお。中身は同じみたいだけど。
時空の支配とそれに基づく歴史の破壊、言い換えれば過去から未来までを含む委員会による完全なる理想郷を実現することは21世紀に向けてのセルンの存在意義となるだろ
う。Ruled by the committee that encompasses the entirety of past and future events. Chrissy suddenly starts speaking at a stilted clip.
あ、そっか。マキセ氏って英語できるんじゃん。
でかした助手。お前がアメリカに留学したのも全て今日この時のためだったのだな。
そんなわけあるか。勝手に運命感じないで。
Dara relinquishes his chair, allowing Chrissy to sit in front of the computer.
本実験計画は機密保持のため、また臨機応変な計画名の変更を可能にするため Z プログラムと命名された。
Is that actually on the screen? No. Interesting.
Z はすなわちオメガでありヤーである。その名に意味あるいは何らかの情熱的な精神を込めることを禁止する。プログラム従事者に不利益を与えることが推測されるためである。 Z プログラムは国家間の枠組みを超えた極秘共同プロジェクトであり、電磁波研究と同じく300人委員会から承認を受けた最優先研究事項である。
Committee of 300.
以後セルンにおいて行われる他の研究のすべてはこの Z プログラムの隠れ蓑として機能させることが決定された。
I guess Chrissy's reading the preface to a document. It's getting rather dull.
Z プログラムの具体的な内容は書かれていないのか。
Dara types on the keyboard from the side, bringing up another window.
あった。あ、これは。
Chrissy bends forward and stares wide-eyed at the words on the screen.
なんだ。
Z プログラムでは高エネルギーの陽子衝突を用いた時空間転移実験を行う。
Time-space displacement experiments. In other words,
タイムトラベル実験。
I have to struggle to keep from shouting. Quickly run over to the window and close it. Might make it hotter inside, but it would be worse if people outside overheard us.
まさか本当だったなんて。しかも40年近く前から世界中の科学者を欺いてきたっていうの。
俺の睨んだ通りだな。セルンの裏には巨大な影が潜んでいる。おそらく機関、あるいはそれに準ずる組織だ。
何が機関だ、この中二病。たまには真面目に話しなさい。
バカを言うな。俺の言葉は常に真実を指しているぞ。
Doubt.
つか、機関っていうより委員会じゃね？そう書いてやったし。
300人委員会か。セルン評議会とはまた別のものを指してると思うけど、何を指してるのかしら。
Let's find out. Secret organization set to manipulate the world from behind the scenes. Okay, it's basically just a conspiracy theory that there's 300 people who rule most of the world.
世界はあらゆる疑問で満ちている。お前たちが思っているほど美しくはないのだよ。
話聞けよ、オカリン。
聞いている。300人委員会こそ あらゆる秘密結社、各国政府、あらゆる財閥の最上位に位置する巨大な闇だ。
また適当言って。
事実だ。嘘だと思うならネットでググるといい。
So they can't say Dr. Pepper, but they can put Google on the screen. Perfect.
これまで人類はどれだけ繁栄しようとも時間という壁に突き当たってきた。その壁を突破することのできるタイムトラベル技術は人類史を大きく塗り替えるだろう。文字通りの意味でな。かつての核兵器と同じく神に等しき存在になれる禁断の果実だ。それを得たいという誘惑に抗うことのできる者はいない。当然ながら権力を持つ者はあらゆる手段を用いて手に入れようとするだろう。人としての倫理など神を目指す者たちにとっては抱きすべきざれ言だ。わかるか、クリスティーナ。
ご公説をどうも。そこまでスラスラと喋れるっていうことは、あんたも神を目指してるの？
この法王院教魔が望むのはそんな神候補どもの打倒、そして支配構造が崩壊した後の混沌だよ。
New Age of Chaos.
法王院に聞いてるんじゃない。私は岡部に聞いている。
俺は法王院だ。
つまり自分を持ってないってことね。
Damn you, assistant. How dare you attack my very identity?
そんなことよりマキセ氏、Z プログラムの続きプリーズ。
ダル、そんなこととはどういう言い草だ。
陰謀論は聞き飽きたお。オカリンの妄想より Z プログラムの方が気になるし。
Told you, they're not delusions, and they're not theories. But Daru does have a point. Top priority is now to expose the dark side of the international research organization known as SERN.
ジョッシュ、続きを。
頼み事するときぐらい誠意を見せろよ。
Though huffing out complaints, Chrissy obediently goes back to translating.
プログラム第一段階、大型ハドロン衝突型加速器の建設および実用化。
Is that not stuff we've already? Shoots particles to make them collide. Do different types of particles. Okay, there's other hadron colliders in case people wanted to know where those
加
are.
速器については1959年に完成した陽子シンクロトロンからの半世紀にわたるノウハウ蓄積により一定成果を得ている。
I did not mean to open my phone,
プログラム第2段階、リフターの
but I
実
did it
用化
anyways.
および調整。これにより2つ以上の人工的な局所場特異点の生成およびカーブラックホールの生成を可能とする。なお、ブラックホール生成についての情報を意図的に曲解させてリークし、プログラム本来の目的について悟られぬようにすることが必要である。プログラム第3段階、動物実験。プログラム第4段階。
Chrissy stops talking, takes a deep breath, and finally mutters angrily.
人体実験。
That did not sound angrily. A chill runs up my spine. I admit it. Some part of me still saw this as a game. I was elated to discover that an institution as respected as CERN was actually doing time travel research. After all, we ourselves had succeeded, whether by chance or design, in producing our own time travel phenomenon. Thought that maybe we could beat CERN to the first functional time machine design. And wouldn't that be something? But now, just like I said to Chrissy, the world's full of lies. Morals are meaningless. Is it really okay for us to get involved in this?
なあオカリン、前にハッキングした時のこと覚えてるか？確か盗み読みしたメールに書いてあったよね。実験結果エラー、ヒューマンイズデッドミスマッチ、詳細は別紙ゼリーマンズレポートをなんとかかんとか。
Someone died?
それって人体実験となんか関係あんのかな？
My throat goes dry. Cold sweat seeps through my brow. It's not because of the heat. Chris and Dara were waiting for me to speak. Are they entrusting the decision to me? I ask myself, is this really okay? Are you sure? There's no turning back. True. Can I live with myself if I just ignore this conspiracy?
誰？ゼリーマンズレポートを探してくれ。
マジっすか？
マジだ。ただし、クリスティーナ。
え？
お前はもう帰れ。
なんで今さら？
ゼリーマンズレポート。嫌な予感がする。これを見たら、俺たちはもう普通の生活には戻れない。お前はその若さでサイエンス誌に論文が載るほどの天才だ。有望な将来を捨てる必要はない。
もしかして心配してくれてる？
当たり前だ。お前は俺の助手だからな。
助手じゃないって言ってんだろ。気遣ってくれてどうも。でも帰らないわよ。この事実を世界に告発しないと。
ダメだ。それは危険すぎる。
ビビってるのか？
俺たちはこの陰謀を前にしたらあまりに無力だ。下手な行動を起こせば即消されるだろ
う。でもだからって
これは遊びではない。冗談で言っているのでもない。
分かった。告発はやめる。
Though her expression shows she still doesn't agree, she finally submits.
でも帰らないから。気になって眠れない。
後悔しないな。
しない。
She declares firmly. I don't know if it's her competitive spirit or if it's her bravery. She's just ignorant to the ways of the world. Doesn't look like I can persuade her to back down.
ダルはどうする？覚悟はできているか？
僕はスーパーハッカーだし。
He's comfortable even in this situation.
そもそも足がつくようなヘマもしないっつうか？
That settles it. It's good that Mayuri is not here. I can't get her involved. I look Daru and Krisu in the eye.
よし。始めよう。
Krisu gives the seat to Daru.
なお、本作戦名はレーギャルンの箱とする。
In Norse mythology, the gigantic chest protected by 9 locks that contains the cursed sword Leviathan. Levatian. Not quite sure how to pronounce that. The chest with a cursed sword.
へえ、北欧神話なん？きっとかっこいいからじゃね？
そもそも作戦名とか言っちゃう男の人って。
ダル、作戦開始。
He soon finds the Jellyman's report. It required a second password authentication, which Daru broke through easily.
いい？開くぞ。
Daru looks at me and Krisu. I wet my parched lips and nod. The air in the lab suddenly seems thicker. Unable to escape through the closed window, it surrounds us with an oppressive heat. Daru wipes the sweat off his forehead with a handkerchief, and timidly presses the enter key. The file opens. At first glance, it looks like a resume. There's a photograph on the top right. The top left has his name, age, height, weight, and other information. The center is a long string of English text. Underneath that, there's something attached, like a scan of a newspaper clipping with a black and white photo. And then I know. I know exactly what the Jellyman in Jellyman's report means. Jeez, that's terrifying. I take it back, Samus. I don't want to turn someone into jelly. Also, it's already been done. Also, looking at the date, it's 1921. I think they said CERN was 53 or 57. So they put someone back. Oh yeah, and then they didn't even have the computer until like 75. So they threw someone back like 50 years. 50 plus years.
被験者ジェームス・マッカーシー31歳出身アメリカ Z プログラム4実験日2005年1月28日13時05分
2005. Okay. That's back, what, 84 years-ish. Kirsu bends over Daru's shoulder, reading the contents out loud.
実験結果エラー Human is dead ミスマッチ
またそれかよ。
超重力による無限圧縮およびカーブラックホール内の特異点通過に耐えられなかったと思われる1921年4月3日ニューヨーク14丁目にてビルの壁面に右半身が埋もれるようにして死んでいる男が発見された
Jeez. Sounds like Chris was reading the newspaper article at the end.
身元不明の男の死体は全身がブヨブヨのゼリー状になっていた
Well, that won't give me nightmares tonight. The ticking of the clock is like a hammer inside my head. It's past 2 a.m. The window is closed and the lab is silent, but for the humming of the computer. We stare at the gruesome image displayed on the monitor, speechless. I was right. We're in too deep. Half-expected guys in black suits and sunglasses to kick down the door and drag us off to a secret military prison. Better make sure the door's the door being locked isn't going to help you if Men in Black come right now.
なんだこれ。
Daru breaks the silence with a disbelieving whisper.
ゼリーマンってゲル化したってこと？
Upon hearing the familiar word, jellified, I reflexively took a look at the bunch of bananas placed next to the computer. There's only one banana left. We didn't have a single successful experiment today, so none of them were jellified. I didn't think this is a mere coincidence. The jellified banana is produced by the phone wave, name subject to change, and the jellified corpse produced by CERN's experiments. They seem identical in nature.
人体実験か
Chrissy speaks calmly despite her grim expression. She doesn't even avert her eyes from the gruesome image.
しかも完全ではないけどタイムトラベルを成功させてるってことになるわねこれ
I'm still in shock, so I don't quite grasp the meaning of Chrissy's
こ
words.
の新聞記事1921年のニューヨークタイムズよ
およそ90年前か
見て
Chrissy points to the part of the black and white photograph Her finger's still shaking slightly. The jellified corpse of a man. She's pointing to his shoulder, which has writing on it. Perhaps it was printed on his clothes. It's fused onto the jellified body, but you can somehow manage to read it. SERN 213547. Jeez, they did that many experiments?
SERN.
Or no, that's just his ID, I guess.
セルンは LHC を使ったタイムトラベル実験で人間を1921年へと送り込んだ?
Still, if you were gonna do like a time travel experiment, and they said they tested on animals first, so we have to assume that the animal time travel experiments went along fine, otherwise you wouldn't advance to humans. But if you're gonna start with it, you'd probably just put a human back like a couple minutes just to make sure it worked. Unless they accidentally went back to 1921.
生きたままというのは失敗したみたいだけどね。
ゼリーマンズレポートはこれだけか？
いや、まだ結構ある。全部で14人分かな？
もしもゼリーマンという言葉が
Yeah, because this was Jellyman 10, I believe.
人間を意味するならその数だけ人体実験の犠牲者がいるということか。
I swallow hard. I'm awfully thirsty. I take a cold Dr. Pepper, Dr. People, out of the fridge and wet my throat.
他のも見せてくれ。
Daru pulls up another report. Without being told to, Chrissy begins translating out loud.
ゼリーマンズレポート9。
So this one is January 2001. Somewhere in a forest. So this is the one before this. The last one.
26歳、出身カナダ。
Not the Canadian. No.
Z プログラム4。実験日2004年9月6日14時10分。
This is program 4. I can't remember what the previous one was, but they have different programs that they're trying with different people. And this one's several years prior.
実験結果、エラー。Human is dead。ミスマッチ。新聞記事の切り抜きの方は、これフランス語ね。私も読めない。
2001年の1月31日というのは読み取れる。
場所はフランスのポーかな。
2001. That's fairly recent. Pretty big difference from James McCarthy, who jumped nearly 90 years back to 1921. Daru calls up a machine translation, giving us the following. January 31st, 2001. Collapsed male corpse discovered in forest outside Pau, France. Its left foot was fused to a tree trunk, and the body had jellified. Daru goes to the next report.
ゼリーマンズレポート8。
India, 1972.
被験者リンダ・ヒル25歳出身イギリス。 Z プログラム4。実験日
Still program
2004
4.
年2月15日13時45分。実験結果エラー。Human is dead。ミスマッチ。
Bubba Man is subscribed at tier 1. Thank you, Bubba. How are you doing? You're here just in time for us to read old newspaper clippings of people who have died. Sub Man. That is good to hear. Daru goes to the next page.
ゼリーマンズレポート7。
Gosh, what is... I can't even make out what that is. It looks like a fried chicken. Or an alpaca. I don't even know what that is.
被験者ミハイル・ラング33歳出身ドイツ Z プログラム4実験日2002年10月8日13時28分実験結果エラーヒューマン・イズ・デッドミスマッチ
The article clipping is written in Japanese. Looks like a pre-war newspaper. May 24th, 1936. The corpse of what is believed to be a jellified human was discovered at the base of Mount Hiei in Kyoto. It was in a damaged state, possibly from having slid down the slope. It even happened in Japan. I've never heard this story before. You're almost back? How is one almost back, Samus? And yet still in chat. It's pre-war though, so I'm guessing someone born in the 90s like me would have no way of knowing about it. Next page. Picture shows a beach, beautiful but for the jellyfish-like body lying on the sand. It must have washed ashore. I cannot make out... Oh, I guess that's supposed to be the feet in the sand? I guess.
ゼリーマンズレポート6被験者マーク・ヒューズ30歳出身アメリカ Z プログラム4実験日2002年8月23日12時52分実験結果エラーヒューマン・イズ・デッドミスマッチ1985年7月1日ペロー諸島ストレイモイ島の海岸に奇妙な物体が流れ着いたそれは成人男性のようにも見えるがクラゲのようなブヨブヨの物体であり生きてはいない島の住人たちの間では半魚人の死骸ではないかという噂も
I do not see it, but I also don't think I want to see it.
旗と見られる場所にはセルンという刻印があったがセルンは関与を否定している
まだ見る
もう十分だ
There are 14 of these people.
発見場所が世界中に散らばっているこの結果からどんな解が導き出せるのかしら
その場所へ送り込もうとしたのだろう
そうは思えない無計画すぎる
カーブラックホールが得意点をどうたらってあったけどそれが原因じゃ
超重力による無限圧縮およびカーブラックホール内の得意点通過に耐えられなかったと思われるそう書いてあった
カーブラックホールって普通のブラックホールとなんか違うん
理論上存在を予言されているブラックホールよ中心の得意点が回転しているという特徴がある実在することはまだ証明されていないし証明しようもないけど
Kerr black hole. Where have I heard that term before?
そうかジョン・タイター
Titer said the time machine used Kerr black holes.
タイターはこう言っていた2034年にセルンによってタイムマシン開発は成功したとそしてタイター自身は2036年からやってきたと
It makes sense for Titer and CERN to be using the same time travel technology. Chrissy closes her eyes, deep in thought.
カーブラックホールを作るなんてそんなのむちゃくちゃよ下手したら地球ごと飲み込まれかねないような行為よそもそもカーブラックホールは仮説であって
タイターの予言は現実でありミュウツベに出ていた LHC 実験における最悪の予想図もほぼ事実になりつつあるということだ
Is that their version of YouTube? Mewtube? Yep.
タイターの予言は知らんけど ミューツベで問題の動画見たことある。2、3年前に話題になってたよな。
This problem video. Oh, a CG mock-up of a mini black hole swallowing the Earth. Cool.
ブラックホール内部は尋常じゃない重力なの。そこを通れば確かに時間移動は可能かもしれないけど、生身の人間が通り抜けられるわけがない。
だからこそゼリーマン化しているというべきだろ
う。ゼリーマンどころか素粒子レベルまで分解される。それがブラックホール。
議論するよりタイムマシンについての資料を漁った方が早いんじゃね？
Dar's already started pulling up the new documents. I'm suddenly afraid. Is it okay to keep hacking CERN like this? Should I stop him? I'm the one who asked him to do it, but things have gotten serious now. But at the same time, irresistible curiosity wells up inside me. Time travel is becoming a reality. I want to know that that's true. I can't stop now.
あった。 Z プログラムの中にタイムトラベル理論について解説してるファイルがある。
ずいぶんあっさり見つかるわね。セルンにしては脇が甘すぎる。
セルンが甘いんじゃなくて僕がすごいっつうか。
I'm just that good.
ダルは俺のマイフェイバリットライトアームであり、
スーパーハッカーだっけ？
ハッカー？
それでクリスティーナ、なんと書いてある？
This is in English too, so I have no choice but to rely on my assistant.
ちょっと読む時間をくれない？
Chrissy's eyes dart left and right across the lines. Her earlier reluctance has vanished. Looks like she's as curious as I am.
嘘。これ本当にタイターって何者なのよ？
何をブツブツ言っている？何が書かれているのか教えてくれ。
あ、うん。なんかはめられたような気がしてならない。
どういう意味だ？
ほぼ一緒なのよ。ジョン・タイターが語った理論の内容と。ざっと説明すると、 LHC によって陽子を高速の 99.999991% まで加速して正面衝突させるの。そうすると10のマイナス24乗キログラムの質量を10のマイナス19乗メートルっていうとても狭い範囲に圧縮して押し込むことができる。
日本語で OK。3行で。
すごく狭い場所、すごく小さい質量、無理やりねじ込む。
That explanation's too vague.
その説明はエロすぎだろ、上皇。
Gosh, dang it.
は？どこがどうエロいのよ？芦田の変態！
そういうマキセ氏もなかなかの妄想能力の高さじゃね？
一緒にすんな！
I don't know which curse thing from today I'm gonna have nightmares about more. Her blushing cheeks make her denial less than effective.
アホは相手にするな、クリスティーナ。続きを。
何の話だったっけ？
We were talking about thrusting small things into a tiny space with great force.
無理やりねじ込む話。
Yes, thank you.
陽子の圧縮の話だ。
その圧縮が成功するとミクロ特異点ができるんだけど。
ミクロ特異点？ミニブラックホールじゃなくて？
意味はほとんど同じだ。特異点はいわばブラックホールの中心だからな。
このミクロ特異点が2つあるブラックホールを作るのよ。
Black hole with 2 cores. Like a cowlick with 2 hairs? No, I don't think that's it.
擬人化希望。
What?
はいはい。ミクちゃんとクロちゃんでいいか？
Why are you indulging him?
姉妹とか燃えるぜ、はあはあ。
ミクちゃんとクロちゃんは電子を与えると自由に操れるようになるのよ。
Can all physics be explained like this?
電気ショックで拷問か。それなんてエロゲ？
We have to look at it. Erotic games, perfect. Just what I was hoping for tonight. Death, and then erotic shock torture as a method of explaining physics.
操作できるようになった2人を超高速回転させるの。
You force them to rotate in extremely high velocity.
すると理論的にミクちゃんとクロちゃんは2人とも魔法少女リング上特異点に変身する。
Oh my... dang it, I just... If you take the names of the 2 girls, it's micro. Because they have to be a small mass, that's why it's micro. Gosh, dang it.
変身バンクですね。わかります。
Well, it looks like these two have found a common wavelength.
これでカーブラックホール効果が生まれることになる。
そもそもカーブラックホールって何ぞ？さっき回転しているって言ってたけど。
Kerr black holes are clearly transformed magical girls. Were you not listening?
そのままの意味。
でもブラックホールって普通回転してんじゃね？穴に向かって渦巻いてるじゃん。
その回転しているように見える部分はブラックホールに吸い込まれつつある周囲の物質でしかない。普通のブラックホールは超質量により重力崩壊を起こした中心点があるだけ。そこに向かってあらゆるものが落ちていってるの。それは点っていうぐらいだから回転はしてない。一方のカーブラックホールはさっき言った通り中心が点じゃなくてリング状なのよ。ミクちゃんとクロちゃんは普通の人間ではありえないことに魔法を少女化すると心臓が体内でぐるぐるとリング状に回転してるって考えて。
グロは勘弁だお。
助手よ、お前はさっきこう言ったな。カーブラックホールは実在したとしても証明しようがないと。それはどういう意味だ？
ブラックホールにはイベントホライゾンというものがある。
More terms. Oh yes. So this is just the transformation sequence. Event horizon. Exists a point beyond where even light can no longer escape from a black hole's immense gravity. This boundary is called the event horizon. Okay, so it's the point of no return once you're trapped in the quicksand that is a black hole.
この内側に入ると時間と空間の役割が入れ替わってしまうわけで。
時間と空間の役割が入れ替わる？
私たちは今空間を自由に移動できるけど時間を1分過去に戻すことはできない。それが入れ替わるのよ。イベントホライゾンの向こう側だと空間の移動は不可能になり逆に時間を移動可能になる。
So you're saying that's why people were randomly placed around the world.
空間の移動が不可能だからブラックホールからの再脱出はできないと言える。例えば 岡部がブラックホールに突入した場合に体験するのは永遠に引き延ばされた時間なの。光が再脱出不可能ということは、人の目にはどうやったってイベントホライゾンの向こう側は見ることができない。観測も照明も不可能。ただし例外もある。タイムトラベルにカーブラックホールを使う場合、この例外こそが重要なのよ。
もったいぶらずに教えてもらおうか。
Yes, this is a very long point that's been emphasized by
中心が回転
transforming
してるわけ
magical
だから
girls.
核運動量が存在する。
だから日本語でオケだって。
中心点が回転してるってさっき説明したでしょ。その回転運動量って思えばいい。ミクちゃんとクロちゃんに電子を与え続けると自由に操ることができるわけだけど、カーブラックホールの特徴は核運動量が質量を上回るとイベントホライゾンがなくなって特異点が裸の状態になること。
Is it really called naked singularity? Apparently it is. This can only end perfectly for this game. Naked singularity is a singularity is usually concealed by its event horizon. A naked singularity is a singularity whose event horizon has been removed and therefore can be observed and even traveled through. Existence is purely theoretical.
裸だと？魔法少女のコスチュームは露出度高えというわけですな。これアニメ化まだ？
And this went exactly where I thought it would go. We now have naked magical girls. And he wants to know when it airs, probably after midnight. Chris and I ignore Daru's nonsense. You see the word naked, but you're still busy.
裸になることで観測不可能だったものが観測可能になるわけか。
イベントホライゾンがなくなることで時間と空間の役割が入れ替わる必要はなくなった。裸の得意点に向けてその入れ替わりを回避して突入できるようになる。そして裸の得意点の存在は一般相対性理論と因果率を破綻させるわ。宇宙の法則が乱れるのよ。
そんなもの存在できるのか。
The negation of the theory of relativity and the principle of causality means serious paradoxes can occur. Didn't Chrissy say that earlier?
これまでも存在する可能性は高いと予測されていた。矛盾するようだけど証明はされてる。因果率が破綻してるわけだから、その裸の得意点に突入すれば過去へ遡ることができる。
John Titor said the same thing. So Titor's time machine is using SERN's technology. But Titor's time machine was compact, small enough to fit into a car. The Large Hadron Collider is 27 kilometers long, but they managed to get it down to travel size in just 24 years.
わからないのは得意点に電子を注入する部分ね。見て、この LHC の写真だけど、陽子衝突地点に妙な機器が設置されてる。リフターっていう名前で呼ばれてるみたいだけど、一体何のことだか。
ダル、聞いたことは？
リフターリフター、さっきの Z プログラムにもちらっと出てきたよな。ググってみる？
Dara opens up a browser window and enters Lifter into a search engine,
お、
which is definitely Google. About 422,000 results.
こんなに機密でも何でもないのかな。
もしかしてこれじゃないか。イオンクラフト。
イオン、つまり電荷を持った原子や分子のことね。意味としては一致する。
We click on a link that says Ionocraft Lifter. Takes us to a video on YouTube. Gosh, that's an old looking version of YouTube. Looks like some dim garage. Doesn't seem like anything secretive, just a garage like you'd see in an average American home. The center of the screen is a triangular shape made of some kind of metal. Looks about 10 centimeters high and about 30 centimeters wide. Not sure how you can tell that without something for scale, but whatever. It's connected to some sort of generator by a thin wire. Looks like some really cheap equipment. That's all there is. Nothing else. After explaining something in some language I don't understand, Russian maybe, the person filming the video slowly turns the power on. And then a silvery triangle floats soundlessly into the air. Then it remains stationary.
反重力装置だと。
そんなのあるわけない。あったら世紀の大発見よ。イオンクラフトっていうぐらいだから、この場合帯電した空気と電極が関係してるんだと思う。
Chrissy doesn't sound as confident as she usually does. Look up information on the Ioncraft lifter. Ionocraft lifter. Lots of sites have detailed instructions on how to make lifters, but I don't know how they work since the sites all give conflicting theories.
そのリフターにセルンが目をつけた。そしてタイムトラベルに必要な装置として組み込んでいる。ミクロ特異点の質量や重力場を操作できるとなれば、やはりこれは反重力装置ということだろう。
まあそういう限定的条件に当てはめるなら間違いじゃないかもしれないけど。
Incredible. The curiosity is growing more by the second.
でもセルンはこのリフターの調整に苦労してるみたいね。ミクロ特異点の重力調整がうまくできていない。だから完全な裸の特異点を作れていない。
そのせいで被験者がゼリーマンになっていると見るべきだな。
Chrissy nods.
裸の特異点が作れていないなら、つまり被験者はブラックホールに放り込まれるのと同じだから、突入するだけで凄まじい質量によって押しつぶされるに決まってる。その結果、あらゆる物質がフラクタル構造になってしまったという仮説を提示してみる。実際はどうなってるのかさっぱり。調べるだけで何ヶ月もかかりそう。
You're back and have no idea what's going on. There's been a lot. Let me see if I can remember everything that's happened. So, I think when you left, we were looking up some of the documents on their computer. We had confirmed that they had been doing research on time travel, and we were looking into the Jellyman reports, which are, as they sound, people turned into jelly. Yep, no worries. Yeah, that's totally fine. If you get called into something else, you have no obligation to be here. But yes, we were looking at something called the Jellyman reports. Yes, jelly people. 14 of them, in fact. We only looked at about 6 of them. No jelly babies. They were people from the United States, Canada, Germany, Britain. I think those are all the countries they listed. Who had been turned into jelly and fused with objects or found like adrift in the ocean. Throughout time for like the past 90 years. Then what? Then we found a diagram explaining how their time travel works, and it uses Kerr black holes that have 2 cores, and I think they haven't really explained why 2 cores, but they were just going into like the physics of what does that mean, how does that work, is it possible, and now we're talking about lifters, which is something that was used in their diagram for the Large Hadron Collider, which apparently acts as like an anti-gravity kind of machine when you run electricity through it. And I think that about covers it. Or at least the main plots of the story. We also had Christina explain everything in terms of a weird anime with two spinning girls doing a magical girl transformation. And yes, you saw the word naked come up, because apparently, yes, there it is. There's a thing in real science called a naked singularity, which means it has no event horizon and therefore can be viewed because, as they explained to us, an event horizon is basically the point of no return where light cannot escape the gravitational pull of a black hole. So since light cannot escape it, you cannot view it with human eyeballs. So if a black hole doesn't have an event horizon, then you can view the singularity, and thus it is naked. Yeah, I think that about covers it in non-technical terms. And some technical terms. All of this was purely theoretical. The concept of seeing into a black hole is purely theoretical, because haven't been able to observe any black hole without an event horizon. But regular black holes, you can only see up until the event horizon because that light can escape, and once light goes through the event horizon, then you can no longer view what's inside of it at that point, is my understanding at least. If Titer is telling the truth, then CERN won't complete their time machine for another 24 years.
俺たちが先に電話レンジカッコ仮を完成させればセルンを出し抜くことも可能というわけだ。
規模が全然違う。それにセルンでさえ完成させていないのに
You guys have
あんたにでき
funding?
るわけないでしょ。これは簡単に解決できる問題じゃない。そもそも時間移動調整や時間跳躍後の場所指定の問題もセルンは解決できてないし、ジェリーマンの発見時期や発見場所がバラバラなのも納得だわ。
If CERN builds a time machine, couldn't they go back in time and finish the time machine 24 years before they first built it? I mean, yes. This game operates on the multiple world lines theory, so if you were to go back in time and to do that, you would change it for just that world line, and not the original world line you came from. You'd spawn a different world line at that point. So you could never truly go back and add it to the world you came from, is how this game operates.
例えば地の底とか宇宙空間とかに放り出されたゼリーマンもいるかもしれない。見つかってるゼリーマン以外にもね。というかその可能性は限りなく 100% に近い。
Cool, there are also jellymen floating in space.
地球から何万キロも離れた宇宙
There were
空
also
間に放
wonderful
り出された
pictures of all the people turned
タイ
into
ムトラベル
jelly.
しても無意
It
味
will give me nightmares
全
tonight.
く実用的じゃないわ。
可変重力ロックシステムというようなものがあるとタイターは言っていた。
And then, yeah, we'll find space jellies, and then we'll just think they're
地
aliens.
球の重力を捉え、必ず地球がある場所に到着できるようになると。
タイターの説明はその点については曖昧だわ。
Just come to Canada, where it is somewhat covered,
そういう機
depending
会
on
が
your
ある
insurance.
というだけじゃ説明にはならない。
I don't want to know how much therapy costs in the United States, but I imagine it is way more expensive than in Canada. Yeah. Oh, and yes, and you're not allowed to travel right now. I wonder if anything would stop you from doing virtual doctor's visits across country borders. Maybe.
で わけないでしょ。
$30 for 45 minutes? Okay, I think that's actually cheaper than here. I haven't seen prices for that in a while, but like even with conversion, like $30 American is about 40, low 40s Canadian. Actually, maybe that's comparable. I was thinking it was like 60 to 70 for an hour. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it would go higher when you see a specialist. I think that's actually comparable to here.
地球は常に動き続けているからだ。
そう、自転と公転。地球の自転速度は時速にしてだいたい1650キロ。公転速度は時速で考えるとおよそ11万4000キロ。1時間前にいた座標から私たちはそれだけ離れることになる。
That is unfortunate, Samus. I'm sorry to hear that.
むほー、そう考えると僕たちってテラハヤス。
それだけじゃない。地球を含む太陽系はミルキーウェイに属してる。ミルキーウェイは渦を巻いているところからわかる通り回転してるのよ。
How deep are we going to go into this? The Earth is moving, it's spinning, it's rotating. Depending on how far you go back, you have like continental drift and things like that. And now we have the solar system is moving as part of the Milky Way.
諸説あるけど、だいたい1日に5000万キロぐらい地球が移動する速さでね。
The Earth moves about 50 million kilometers a day. How can she roll all those numbers so smoothly off her tongue? I get that she's a genius, but it's hardly common knowledge. Has she been doing research on the topic?
なんかもうスケールが途方もないぞな。
ついでに言うと、ミルキーウェイを含む複数の銀河で銀河群が形成されているし、さらに上のグループとして超銀河団っていうのもある。
We've gone all the way to super clusters.
それらの銀河群も超銀河団も動いているかもしれないわけ。そうなるとさらに飛躍的に私たちの移動距離は伸びる。いずれにせよ、ほんの1秒前に飛ぼうとするだけで
So
も
we're receiving an email. I'd like to point out it's somewhere between like 2 and it's somewhere after like 2 a.m. Yeah, hold on to this. Why are you messaging us at like... It's 3:20 a.m. in game. Why are you messaging us? Asking if we've bought your debut single. No one cares about your Fire mixtape. Okay, let's actually read through this. Have you bought Phantasm's debut single? Yeah, it's the theme song for Rainet Kakeru, so it's really popular. Ferris bought 5 copies. Yeah, it's my duty as a Rainetter. Anyway, there's an important secret hidden in Phantasm songs. The key is to unlocking it is oops. The bells ring. Yeah, looks like someone's here. Better see who it is. Please do not open your door at 3:20 a.m. to a random person. Okay, so our options are... We can talk about the band's vocalist. This band is also part of Chaos Head. One of the main characters is actually in the band. Is this another part of Operation Stupidify Humanity? Explain. Or, I'm aware they are said to contain directions to the sanctuary, as well as prophecies regarding the end of the world. Isn't that right? I kind of like that one. I mean, the stupidity one is funny, but I feel like this is what he would say, so I'm going to go with this one. What is going on here? Ferris sends us random emails that make no sense, and apparently she sends us random emails at 3:20 in the morning and then ends it with, oh, some random person's ringing at my door. I guess I'm gonna go open it. Bye. And now we'll never hear from her again.
手動じゃ無理だし、同じ場所に移動しようと思ったらスパコンで計算したって解が出るまでに何年かかるか。
ならば仕方あるまい。ダイターを探し出し、その可変重力システムを借りようではないか。
それは明暗ね。せいぜい頑張って。この問題についてセルンはどうしようとしてるのかな。
After blowing me off, Chris goes back to reading CERN's documents. Daru and I aren't good with English, so there's nothing we can do but let her work. So the problem is that if you were to time travel, like if me sitting in my chair wanted to go, let's say, back 1 year to, let's say, August 15th, 2019. We know the time part of that equation, back 1 year. We have the space part of that equation, which is where the Earth is, like where this chair exists in the grand scheme of like space, universes, galaxies, whatnot. Right now is not where it would be 1 year previous, because the Earth moves, the solar system moves, the galaxies move, so on. So you need to calculate where would this chair exist in that coordinate grid 1 year prior, so I don't go back in time and end up in like the middle of space and just die. That is the problem they were discussing. So Titer, the guy on their Reddit forum who says he's from the future, claims he has some sort of coordination lock, which basically can limit it to you will appear somewhere on the surface of Earth. Where on Earth? Not sure, but you will end up on Earth. You're done trying to even solve teleportation. Apparently it's morning now. Dawn breaks. Stayed up all night again. Fighting drowsiness, I refill my mug with instant coffee. Already lost count of how many I've had.
Okabe.
You have a coffee pot literally in the background of this image. You actually have a theory about teleportation, but it's based on a very limited theory that you don't fully understand. I don't even understand half the stuff they talk about in this game in terms of physics. It's cool. I wish I knew more. I wish I understood it more, but I'm not going to spend time looking into it. It's not that important to my everyday life, I guess. Krisu hands her mug to me without looking away from the computer. I guess she expects me to refill it. Since when did I become her maid? That's Mim's job. She should ask Mayuri for stuff like this. Mayuri's a professional maid after all. That said, Krisu's the one reading CERN's documents right now. Daru and I can manage if we use translation software, but we're nowhere near as efficient as she is. Popeye maids. I mean, you've seen the picture, have you not? It's not exactly what I had in mind when I said I wanted to borrow her knowledge. Just goes to show that I was right to make her a lab member. She's an asset to the lab, for now at least. Should try not to upset her. Those birds are very loud in the background. I silently take the mug from Krisu, dump in the powdered coffee, pour in the hot water from... Okay, so it's not instant. At least not in how I understand instant. It's just drip coffee. 2 packets of sugar, no milk. Krisu's already requested it the same way 5 times today. Actually, can I check my phone? What time is it now? I mix it well and bring it over to Krisu. She doesn't immediately realize I'm standing behind her, so I hold the mug in front of her face. Can I see what time it is? No. Apparently I can't tell what time it is on my phone. Chrissy takes it without turning.
ありがとう。
Her eyes never leave the screen. She's completely absorbed in CERN's research. Even though she was adamant when she called them traitors to scientists everywhere, she's not above picking their brains. But I understand how she feels. I'm itching to know more myself. Daru is fast asleep on the sofa. His snoring is quite loud. Furthermore, it sounds like he has sleep apnea. Surprised Chris has been able to ignore it. She just that focused? Decide to watch some TV. As always, the news channels are covering the Radicon satellite crash. Wonder how difficult it would be to add a time system to this type of game. I mean, you could probably add some kind of time system. They already have some kind of, like, timing stuff, like when I'm... Or some kind of triggers, like when I was reading the phone message and they're like, hey, are you paying attention? I can't tell, because it looked like I'd reached the bottom and was talking a little bit before that happened. So I think it was time-based rather than I've read to the bottom of the phone. So it seems like they have some kind of timers built into it. First thought is that every message a specific amount of time passes, then you can set the specific time when necessary to show more accurate time movement. Yeah. I know also in this game, I don't know exactly how long it is, but when your phone, like, rings for a call, you have, it's like 15 seconds or something to answer it. I actually missed the first call in this game. And then we take the call outside. But there are, like, I guess you could call it, like, action events, quick time events kind of thing in this game. And those can greatly change the output of this. Deadbeard is now hosting us. Thank you, Deadbeard. That being said, I don't think we'll be going too much later. It's already almost 11 o'clock here. I was trying to find... Yeah, I was trying to find just like a good spot to end off on, probably when we get to like the next sort of big thing. Yes, Samus, it is getting late. Thank you, Deadbeard. I probably won't be on too much later. You came from a different city to see the satellite. Yeah, no worries, Samus. I totally understand. I can feel the tiredness in my face. But thank you for showing up, Samus. Thank you for all the many unnecessary bits. And thank you for being here early to surprise me with them. It's good night, Samus. And thank you for 20 more unnecessary bits, Samus. No NASA satellite has crashed. And this object is not a satellite. So what is it? You would need a very large crane to remove that. Is it really under investigation? It'd be another plot by the organization. Apparently it is afternoon. We now have a time. The door unlocks from the outside. Mayuri comes in. She has a convenience store bag in hand. There are various food items inside, but it doesn't look like they're for us. We take them anyways. Three of us probably look pretty haggard since we stayed up all night. It's hard to put a bright smile now that I know about CERN. Okay. We have a mail. It's the part-time warrior. Wait, you told us it was good afternoon. It's 11:39. That's still morning. I'm so hungry I had to skip breakfast again today. I don't have much money on hand. Are there any good places to find insects or weeds around here? I can get by using my survival skills if I have to. I have questions. I like this one. What kind of childhood did you have where people made you eat weeds and bugs? I'm gonna send that. That has been sent. Mary opens the window wide. The sky is so blue it hurts my eyes. It needs to be said with attitude. What happened in your childhood? Seriously, what happened? Large clouds listlessly drift on the wind. Truly is a refreshing sight. That face was perfect. Mayuri's appearance makes Daru get up with a grimace. Chrissy also finally moves away from the computer, sipping her hot coffee while rubbing her eyes. I glance at the clock, then go to the center of the room and call for attention. And this feels like a good place to end before we start a round table.